From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios. Listen, watch, chat. This is Webcast 1 Live. Programs on webcast1live.com are brought to you in part by KDC Builders, building custom homes for how you live. KDC will take your dreams and turn them into reality. Go to our website, kdcbuilt.com, or call Hannah Inman at 515-975-9990. And Tom Coates and ConsumerCreditOfAmerica.com. Are you overwhelmed with mounted credit card debt and feel there's no way out? Well, there is. Call 1-800-955-5765 for Consumer Credit of America. That's ccofamerica.com.
Good evening. Welcome to Patriotic Parenting. This is the show where we talk about issues that impact the world we're leaving to our children. We're going to look at social issues. We're going to look at political issues. We're going to look at topics in the news. And we're going to talk about our responsibilities as parents when it comes to voting, when it comes to new laws, when it comes to issues that come up socially at both local, city, county, and state level. Tonight, we are going to talk about welfare fraud. We've been talking a lot about it over the last few weeks, and tonight we're going to look at some exact numbers so that you can understand how large the problem actually is. I have spent the last couple of days doing a lot of Googling. You got to love Google. And looking up all of the numbers that the amount of dollars, truthfully, that we spend on different types of programs so that we can take a realistic look at one or two families and what the actual cost is that's involved. So right now, we are in the process in our state of making some changes to some of the programs. But we're going to take a look right now at one particular family. So this family that we're going to talk about tonight, we will call Mom Jane Doe. And Jane Doe is a single mom. She actually is a client of mine, so we're going to anonymize her. She has 3 children and a 4th child on the way. One of her children is less than 6 months old, and she will be due within 6 months with another child. And this particular mom is on all kinds of assistance through the state of Iowa. And so what I want to talk about tonight is at what point is it too much? Because I understand that there are individuals in our state that live below the poverty level, and I feel like we need to give them assistance, but I also feel like it's not appropriate for them to live above the median income in Iowa. And so we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to look at Jane Doe, and we're going to look at all of the finances involved and what our tax dollars have spent on this one particular mom, and then we're going to multiply out the numbers. We'll see you in a few minutes.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Get away from us, you mean old credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Help! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit! You're our hero!
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker-owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments or looking to purchase foreclosures. We have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, Everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios. Listen, watch, chat. This is Webcast 1 Live. Programs on webcast1live.com are brought to you in part by KDC Builders. Building custom homes for how you live. KDC will take your dreams and turn them into reality. Go to our website, kdcbuilt.com, or call Hannah Inman at 515-975-9990. And Tom Coates and ConsumerCreditOfAmerica.com. Are you overwhelmed with mounted credit card debt and feel there's no way out? Well, there is. Call 1-800-955-5765 for Consumer Credit of America. That's ccofamerica.com.
Welcome back to Licensed to Parent Patriotic Parenting. So, over the last few weeks, we've been talking a lot about welfare in Iowa, and we've been talking a lot about how much of our money is spent and what it's spent on. And so I spent time this week calculating the cost of care for a single mom with 3 children and another one on the way in the state of Iowa. Now, in my child care centers, I currently have probably 15 families that meet these particular parameters, which is head of household, 3 or more children, on assistance through the state of Iowa on multiple types of assistance. And so we are going to take just one, the example of just one family. We're going to add up all of the costs, and then we're going to take a look and see if we can multiply that out so that you realize just how large this problem actually is. And then I'm going to tell you what we need to do to make some positive changes. Okay? Most working Iowans make a median income of about $48,000 a year. Now, $48,000 might be a lot more than you make. It might be a lot less than you make. But according to Census Bureaus and statistics, that's the median income in Iowa. My husband and I both work. I, at this point in time, do not take a paycheck from the companies that I have just started. However, I will have profit sharing, and so I will actually have an income. But in the meantime, he does make above the median income. However, when I did all of the research that I did this last week, what I found was that one single mom in Iowa with 3 children on the assistance system costs more than he and I make together. So here is how it breaks down, and we're going to look at each individual program just in the case of this one particular family, because I think it's important. We've talked about the different programs. We've talked about how you qualify. We've talked about what those programs offer. Now we need to look at the practical side of putting them all together to show you what the cost is for one family. Okay? Jane Doe is a single mother. Jane Doe has 3 children, ages 3, 2, and 6 months. She is currently expecting, and she is due within the next 6 months with another child. So what we're going to look at is a 12-month period, starting March of this year, going through March of next year. And we're going to look at the total cost in taxpayer dollars from March to March for this one particular family, because I think it's crucial that we understand the actual cost that these programs have put into place that comes out of our pocket. So we're going to start with rent assistance. And in rental assistance, when you have a family with 3 children and another one on the way, you qualify for up to a 3-bedroom house, apartment, townhome, up to a certain income. So what I did was I took the average cost of a 3-bedroom income-based townhome in Iowa, and I subtracted out the amount that Section 8 would pay. And what I came out with for the rental assistance is $750 a month is the average rental assistance under Section 8 that this mom would receive. If you take that and multiply it out for a year, that's $9,000 a year. So we have $9,000 a year to help with her rent, okay? If she has a need for utility assistance and qualifies for utility assistance, which she does, then there's an additional $150, an additional $1,800 a year that goes to heat and utilities. So together, rent and utilities, $10,800 that comes from the taxpayer dollars in for this one mom, okay? Then she has childbirth for the child who's less than 6 months old. And the average childbirth, if you have no complications whatsoever, is $10,000. That is for straight delivery, no C-section, no recovery time, no week in the hospital. Just we go in, we have a normal labor and delivery, and we go home. You're talking $10,000. Now she's due with another child within 6 months. And so then within another 6 months, we will have another $10,000 bill. Minimum. That's if there are no complications, because a preemie can cost $47,000. And so there's a very large difference in what each childbirth can cost, but the bare minimum is $10,000 each. So we have another $20,000 to add to the $10,800 for the birth of her 2 children. Now, it is interesting to note that although she's expecting again already, that in Iowa, when you have a child while you're on assistance, they actually pay for a year of Planned Parenthood. So although the state has paid for a year of family planning services to include birth control, to include all kinds of options, here we are, less than 12 months later, we will be having another child added to the system, and we will be expected to increase payments to this parent. So even though we've said to her, you have 3 children, we're going to help you, and we're going to help you with family planning, yet another child's being born, and even more payments are going to be delivered. Because in this country, when you go onto the system with 2 children, you can then have a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, and each and every time the payments go up. There is no cap on how much money you can receive based on how many children you entered the system with, okay? So if you enter the system with 2, your payments don't stop at 2. If you decide to have 3, 4, and 5, the money goes up, okay? All right, so added into the rent and the cost of childbirth, then we have the average medical costs. The average medical costs, which is covered under Title 19 and Medicaid, the average medical costs calculated by Harvard, so I would think that they know what they're talking about, for a family of 5, mom, 4 children, is $22,500 a year. So that's an additional $22,500 that we, the taxpayers, are paying for well child visits, for shots, for ear infections, for tubes, for just the basic necessary medical care. And it's interesting to note that under Title 19, not only are all of her doctor visits covered, all of her specialist visits are covered, all of her hospital visits are covered, there's no copay. Now, you and I, most average Americans, have a copay to see the doctor. We have a copay to go to the hospital. We have a copay to have prescriptions. Under Title 19 and Medicaid, there are no copays. And not only are prescription medicines free, but under Title 19, doctors write prescriptions for Tylenol, for Advil, for Tums, for Visine, for foot powder, all for allergy medicine, all of the things that those of us who work buy over the counter and have to pay for ourselves are provided and taken care of for someone on Title 19. So you add in the $22,500 for medical care to the $10,800 and the $20,000, and the bill keeps growing. Next, let's talk about childcare. This mom I calculated out her child care bill for 12 months in my child care with these 4 children, and 12 months of child care is approximately, well, pretty much almost exactly $28,900. So another $28,900 in taxpayer money goes to pay for child care while she works. Okay? Now, interesting note there is that the amount spent on child care for this mom is more than she actually makes by $9,000. So we are paying $9,000 more out of our tax dollars for child care for her children than she makes of gross income at her job. Okay? So add in that $28,900 to our total, and next we're going to look at food stamps. Now, they're not called food stamps anymore. It's called food assistance, and it comes in an EBT card, which looks like a debit card, and you use it at the grocery store. It's not the old paper stamps you used to pull out that used to make it embarrassing and humiliating to go to the store. It just looks like a debit card. So for a family of a mom with 4 children, we're looking at another $700 a month in food assistance. That's another $8,400 a year added to the taxpayer tab. Okay? Just this one family. So you add in the child care, the cost of childbirth, the food stamps, the medical care, the rent assistance, the utility assistance. With those types of assistances added together, not including WIC, not including supplemental foods, not including promise jobs, not including student grants to go to school, assuming that this is just with nothing else, just straight, all she does is work, we spent, you and I, out of our tax dollars, $90,600 in a 12-month period. Now, here's what kills me. We spent $90,600 on rent, medical bills, food, and utilities and childcare for this one mom and her children. In the meantime, she made $20,800 from her job. She kept it all. She did not have to give any of it back. She made $4,755 in earned income credit at tax time. She kept it all, did not have to give any of it back. She got $1,835 in additional child tax credit, kept it all, did not have to give any of it back. She got all of her federal taxes back, all of her state taxes back, and in the end had tax refunds of over $10,000 and a disposable income of $20,800 after rent, utilities, childcare, medical, and groceries were all paid for, which adds up to a hefty $29,000. Now, I don't know what kind of position most of you are in, but I can tell you this. Your disposable income after all of your bills are paid is not $29,000. Unless you are a family that has a crazy great job. If you're a neurosurgeon, it's possible. If you are an average working American, the median income is $48,000. You do not have $29,000 left over after you pay all your bills. We're going to take a short break while you absorb that number and think about it, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to tell you a few more truths that you probably should know and won't like. Back in a few.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Get away from my Sumito credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Help! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit! You're our hero!
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker-owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments are looking to purchase foreclosures, we have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios. Listen, watch, chat. This is Webcast 1 Live. Programs on webcast1live.com are brought to you in part by KDC Builders, building custom homes for how you live. KDC will take your dreams and turn them into reality. Go to our website, kdcbuilt.com, or call Hannah Inman at 515-975-9990. And Tom Coates and ConsumerCreditOfAmerica.com. Are you overwhelmed with mounted credit card debt and feel there's no way out? Well, there is. Call 1-800-955-5765 for Consumer Credit of America. That's ccofamerica.com.
We're back. So, we've been talking about the actual cost in tax dollars of one family on assistance in Iowa, because I think that it's important for Iowans to understand the actual sheer amount of money that gets spent and what it gets spent on. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I firmly believe that the average tax-paying citizen has no idea how much of their tax dollars goes towards assistance programs and how much is actually spent on each individual family. When I first started looking at some of these issues, I was not very politically active. Didn't really care about issues outside of my own home, mostly because I never left my home. I did in-home childcare for years. I was home every day. I worked. I got up, went from my living room couch to the kitchen coffee pot, and I was at work. There was no driving. There was no worrying about weather. There was no worrying about whether I was open or closed. Every day from 4:30 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night, I took children into my home and took care of them for other people. And so there really was no need for me to care about any of this. Then the city came along and eminent domained my house. And I, at some point in my life, am sure that I will thank the city of West Des Moines for forcing me to move, forcing me to open a child care center, and really turning my life upside down. So I'm not quite to the point yet where I'm grateful, but I'm sure at some point I will be, because here's what I learned. I learned that there are so many laws that I didn't know about, that there are so many things that are wrong that I didn't know about. And so now it's my job, because I know about them, to talk to other parents about them. And so when I talk to other parents now about the welfare system, I find that they know about the programs that exist a little bit. They know that there's daycare assistance for poor families. They don't have any idea what the cost is. They know that there's assistance for people who need help with rent. They have no idea what the cost is. And so they really have no concept of how much is actually spent. And the numbers that we were talking about just a little while ago, those are strictly the numbers that are paid straight to the landlord, straight to the daycare provider, straight to the grocery store. What's not even included in that $90,600 is all of the money spent on the caseworkers who approve, on the lights and utilities for the buildings for all of these caseworkers to put all of these case files, all of the administrative money that's spent on paper to send out notices of decisions, for the stamps, because the Department of Human Services spends an exorbitant amount of money on postage. You would not even, I imagine, believe their postage bill. It doesn't include any of the cost to implement all of these programs. $90,600 is just strictly the straight money paid out for the care and for the rent and for the utilities. The cost to a taxpayer is probably closer to $120,000 if I had to guesstimate. And that's one family. Okay. So now we're going to talk about how many families are actually involved when we talk about the numbers. And I have been trying very, very hard to Google the number of children in Iowa using child care assistance. And I can't seem to find that number. But here's what I can tell you. There are 99 counties in Iowa. Let's assume that each of those 99 counties has in them the same number of children on daycare assistance as 5 centers in Polk County. Each county has the same amount as 5 centers in Polk County. My centers alone have 86 children on child care assistance. If you take that 86 children and you multiply it by 5, it's over 400 children. If you take that 400 children and you multiply 400 children times the 99 counties, and I am very bad with math, so we're going to have a little look-see here on a calculator before I say something stupid. 99 times 400, you're looking at 39,600 children on child care assistance at an average cost of $8,600 per child. Think about that. $8,600 per child. Wow. That makes the cost just for daycare assistance alone, if that's all the number of children there are, and I don't believe that it is, you're talking 300, well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. $340,560,000. Let me repeat that for you. $340,560. And where do those dollars come from? Your taxes. That's just childcare. That's not including rent or utilities or medical. That's just childcare. And that's only assuming that every county only has 400 children. By next week, I will have an exact number for you how many children, within a few hundred, of course, are using the child care assistance system in Iowa. And if any of you know how to get me that number, my email is comments@parentpermit.com, and I'd love to have it. I'd also love to have any other information about other programs that I might not have included when calculating the cost for this one family. Okay, so here are some of the things that make this all the more egregious, okay? If you set aside the fact that Medicaid or Title 19 pays for things that private insurance doesn't, that these families are getting a higher level of medical care than you and I. They are getting their over-the-counter prescriptions paid for. They have access without any copays at all to specialists, to surgeons, to hospital visits, without having to pay a single dime of their own money. If you don't even look at that part of it, set that aside. If you look at the sheer amount that is being spent, which is $90,600, if you take that money, I want to ask myself sometimes, why do we not simply find something for these families to do and pay them to do it? If we're going to take this amount of money for one family, then why can we not say to that one family, we're going to, for a period of 60 months, which is how long you can be on this assistance, 5 years, we're going to say to them, okay, we're going to give you the median income in Iowa, and we will give you a job to do for that median income, but in return, you will need to pay your own bills. If we did that, taking the numbers into consideration for this one family, we would be looking at a $40,000 a year savings for this one family. If you multiply that out amongst all the families, it is an astronomical amount of money. Now, I know that's not a practical solution to the problem, but here are some practical solutions that I think absolutely we need to put into place. First of all, Florida just passed a law, along with Texas and Missouri, that you cannot apply for welfare unless you are willing to go through drug testing and pass. If you are using drugs, you cannot get any kind of assistance. I think this is brilliant and beautiful, and I think Iowa needs to pass it as soon as possible. So, all of you who would be willing to help me with this little project need to email me. comments@parentpermit.com, because I want to go out and talk to businesses and individuals and get a petition signed and get it to the governor so that he knows that we mean business, that this is not okay. Anyone using has to immediately be taken off the system. And here's one that'll blow your mind, okay? In Iowa, parents who have their children removed have reunification processes, as we talked about in the earlier hour when we talked about foster care and adoption. What you don't know is that the state then pays for supervised visits for these parents with their children. And to top it all off, these supervised visits, which cost an average of $200 an hour, and that's just strictly the money that goes out to the people who do the visits, not including the administration of the program, once again, about $200 a visit. Okay? The average 2 to 3 visits a week. Now, one parent, 3 visits a week is $600 a week in cost to the taxpayers. The ironic and crazy-making thing is that that parent can fail a drug test, they can still be using drugs, and our tax dollars still pay for visits with their child. The visits don't get suspended. The money still gets spent. We are paying for individuals who are using drugs, who are not making any attempt to get their life back together, who are not doing what they need to do to be able to parent their children. We are paying $600 a week. Let's get out our calculator. Oh, let's see. $600 a week times 52 weeks. $31,200, folks. $31,200 for supervised visits for a parent using drugs. Are you okay with that? I'm not, and I want to see it stopped. We're going to talk about a few more crazy-making things when we come back in a few. Hold on.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Get away from my Sumito credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit! You're our hero!
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker-owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments or looking to purchase foreclosures. We have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, listen, watch, chat. This is Webcast 1 Live. Programs on webcast1live.com are brought to you in part by KDC Builders, building custom homes for how you live. KDC will take your dreams and turn them into reality. Go to our website, kdcbuilt.com, or call Hannah Inman at 515-975-9990. And Tom Coates and ConsumerCreditOfAmerica.com. Are you overwhelmed with mounted credit card debt and feel there's no way out? Well, there is. Call 1-800-955-5765 for Consumer Credit of America. That's ccofamerica.com.
Welcome back. We're on a rant tonight, and we're talking about the cost of welfare programs in Iowa. So earlier tonight, we talked about an example of one family. We talked about an example of Jane Doe, single mom, 3 kids, 4th on the way. Now, the numbers we came up with after adding up rent, utilities, childcare, medical, food stamps, after we added up all of the assistance to this one single mom, the grand total to the taxpayer, $90,600, ladies and gentlemen. The amount of disposable income that this single mom was allowed to keep without returning any of it to the state, $29,000. So, all of you who have an extra $29,000 left after paying all your bills are probably fine with this. I'm not one of you. I don't think there are very many of you out there. And the bottom line is, unless we get educated and unless we start saying, if there is a family that's in poverty, we want them to have an equal living. We want them to have equal living conditions. We're not okay with them having better. Now, I hear the argument all the time, and I once sat and watched a girl when I was in college give a talk about assistance in class. And we were in a social studies class we were studying marriage and families. And what she did was she got up and she gave a talk about food stamps. And what she said was, I can buy food for my kids, but I can't buy a baggie to put their sandwich in. I can buy fresh fruits and vegetables, but I can't buy cling wrap to wrap them to keep them good in the fridge. And I remember thinking at the time, wait a minute, you have not only all of the financial aid that I don't qualify for, so your college is paid for, you have a job, your childcare is paid for, I pay for mine, your books are paid for, I pay for mine, your rent is paid for, I pay for mine. And by the time I added it all up, by the end of her talk, I was pretty hot because I think that we have become a society where free is expected. And there is a mentality of, I want everything free. I want my medical paid. I want my childcare paid. I want my rent paid. I want my utilities paid. And the mindset is that I will do whatever it takes to get the free, even if it means giving up supporting myself. And so really we've come to a point now where when you can have $29,000 in disposable income after all your bills are paid, what would be the legitimate reason for getting off of the system? And there's nothing in place to help get off the system. Now, I hear the state of Iowa saying that there's a cap. There's a limit on the amount of time you can be on assistance. In some cases, that's true. For some programs, it's not. But what I will tell you is I frequently see families that should have been canceled, not canceled. I frequently see families getting extensions that shouldn't get extensions. And every day I see families committing fraud. It is sad, shouldn't happen, but every single day at my daycare center, I watch a minimum of 15 families at each center coming through the door that are committing welfare fraud. Have I tried turning them in? Absolutely. Have I gone to DHS? Yes, I have. Have I gone to the governor's liaison and said, this has to stop? Here's how you catch them. Give me 2 hours of your time and I will show you how it's done. Yes, I have. Have I gotten any response? I absolutely have not. So, I think there is an accountability factor here that until we start making the government accountable for the full disclosure of the money spent and for the full disclosure of everyone who's on the system, I think that it's never going to be fixed. My recommendations, and you may or may not think that they're viable, is first of all, we absolutely have to have a drug screening system. I understand that drug screening costs a little money. However, if everyone who has a hot UA is disqualified from receiving welfare, our welfare debt will be reduced substantially day one. Day one. It will discourage applicants who can't find a job because they can't pass a drug test. It will discourage applicants who think that they're going to sit at home and smoke pot while their child is being cared for in Iowa child care. It will discourage applicants who are not being honest with the system, because I believe that both parents in the household should have to be screened. So even if mom is going to apply for assistance, if there's a drug user in the household denied. Even if she's not married to that drug user, even if that drug user isn't baby daddy, if she's going to let drugs into her home, sorry, no check for you, ma'am. Kick the drug user out or don't ask for welfare assistance. Step number 2, we got to make the state accountable for the fraud. I believe that if I, as a taxpayer, am going to pay your bills, then I have the right to know who you are. I have the right to know who is taking a check that's paid for by my tax dollars. And I believe that that information should be public. My center's license is public. My licensing reviews are public. My child care history is all public, and it's all online for anyone to see. I take money from the state, and because I take money from the state, I have to live by licensing regulations. I have to allow them to post my information on a public site where anyone can see it. My address is public. My phone number is public. All of my history, including reviews, including child abuse allegations, including licensing inspections, is all public simply because I take money from the government. I don't believe that these programs should be any different. And I truly believe that it would discourage people from applying fraudulently if they knew that their neighbors and everyone else was going to know. Now, I don't believe that that means that their medical bills should be made public. I don't think that we need to know what illnesses their children have. Obviously, those are protected by HIPAA. However, I believe that we have a right to know the dollar amount spent on each household. I believe that we have a right to know, even if it is not published by name, if it is published by case number and by physical address, whatever, however it is they want to chart it, I believe that we as tax-paying citizens who pay the bill have a right to know what's being spent and where. How about we get to know just the sheer number spent on each family? Don't need to break it down for us, but take each household and make that household a vendor that the state pays, and make a list every calendar year, every tax year, of the amount spent on every single household. Because if we had to look at the numbers, we would not tolerate it. If we had to look at the numbers, it would never be okay. It's not okay with me that $90,600 is spent on someone and they get to keep all their income while I pay all of my own bills and have no disposable income left. It's not okay with me that I work 15-hour days and struggle, and at the end of the month when I budget, there's $50 in the bank, when I know that there are individuals out there that every bill is paid for them and they're keeping $29,000 and not having to return a dime of it to me for paying their bills. The reality is that if your neighbor came to you and said, I need help with my bills, that if you could afford it, you would say to them, I will help you. The other reality is, if they weren't helping themselves and they weren't giving some of it back, you would never continue to help them. And you would not continue to help them if they continued to have child after child after child and ask you for more money and more money and more money. There's got to be an accountability. The next law we need to make, limits. When you come into the welfare system with 2 children, that's what you get paid for the whole time you're there. So if you enter the welfare system with 2 kids, then until the day your 60 months is up, you get paid for 2 kids. If you choose to have 3 and 4 with that guy you claim isn't living with you, guess what? Not my problem. Not the taxpayer's problem. You entered with 2 children. You asked us to commit to support your 2 children. We committed to supporting your 2 children. At no time did we commit to support 3, 4, 5, 6 children. Now, once again, let me clarify before those of you send me angry emails saying that I'm discriminating against large families. I have 8 children. 8 children. My youngest brother, 8 children. My sister, 5 children. Okay? You can have 20 children. Michelle Duggar, bless your heart. You want to raise that many crazy kids? You have my blessing. Don't ask me to pay for it. Okay? So if you enter the welfare system with 2 kids, then that's all you can receive payment for. And if you have additional children, your payment does not change by a single dollar. Look at this realistically. Let's say that I get pregnant with a 9th child tomorrow. I walk into my boss. Let's say I work at, principal. Let's just use them for an example. I go into my boss and I say, guess what, boss? I'm going to have a 9th kid. So I'll expect my paycheck to go up by $600 a month because I'm having a 9th kid. So the due date for my kid is October 1st. So then for the month of November then, my check will go up by $600. Now, what do you think my boss is going to say? They're going to say, congratulations. So glad you decided to have another child. Does not mean a guaranteed raise. Doesn't mean you get a single extra dime in paycheck. The reality is, no matter how many kids I give birth to, my paycheck stays the same. No matter how many kids we have, my husband's paycheck for the state of Iowa does not go up by a dime. So why is it when women who are using assistance have 3, 4, 5, 6 children, why is it that every time they give birth, 30 days later, there's a bigger check waiting in the mailbox? It defies reason. It's not common sense. And it's not money that we can afford to spend, Iowa. We can't afford to be further in debt. We can't afford to leave our children with more debt. And our country, let's not even talk about the debt that we're leaving as a country. We can't afford to continue to keep supporting people that we can't afford to support. I can't afford to spend $90,600 on one family. You can't afford to spend $90,600 on one family. We have to get realistic and we have to get a better plan. Anyway, that's my rant for the night. I would like for all of you to absolutely go online and contact me. My website is www.parentpermit.com. My blog is on there. There's an email link where you can contact me, or you can email me at comments@parentpermit.com, or you can email me at my centers. I own the Imagination Education Station Centers in Urbandale and West Des Moines, and you can email me at Teresa, THERESA, @iestation.com, and I will be happy to get back to you about anything you want to know. But I'd really like to hear how you're feeling about some of the information that we're sharing, because I feel like it's important to educate. I feel like it's important that we talk about the issues. I especially feel like it's important that we start making changes in our government at every level so that we can leave our kids a debt-free state, so that we can leave our kids with something other than the responsibility of taking care of a third of the population. Because the way that welfare is growing, it is going to be a large portion of the community before we know it. Can't happen. We can't continue to pay bills we don't have the money to pay for. Okay? So, in closing, I've had a really great time tonight. I very much appreciate all of you watching. I am going to go home and tuck my kids into bed. To my 20-year-old who's homesick tonight, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Sleep really well. Don't forget you have class tomorrow. To my kids who should already be in bed, I'm going to be home in about 20 minutes. Better not find you running around. And to all of you parents who haven't put your kids in bed yet, be the parent. Don't let them run your household. It is bedtime. And I'll see all of you at daycare tomorrow. And if they're cranky, I will know you didn't put them in bed. So, all of you have a great night. Happy Tuesday. We will see you next Tuesday right back here, same time, same channel for Licensed to Parent Patriotic Parenting. Good night.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept